Hey, Debbie, thanks for being with us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
We met you at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference at Salt Fork last year, or this year, was it?
This year.
This year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we recognized you, but we weren't sure where. But then we started talking, and we knew that you were on an episode of These Woods Are Haunted. Is that
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
You had an incident with the Bigfoot encounter in Hocking Hills, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What year did that happen in?
2020.
Okay, so not
Wow.
too long ago.
No, it was like that whole COVID thing. You know
Okay.
how? Yeah, we decided to go. Well, my son's girlfriends. We were at a winery, and they were like, "We got to go for your birthday because my birthday's Halloween." So they just went ahead and booked it, and
Your birthday's
yeah.
Halloween Day?
Yes,
Okay. Well,
Nice.
fellow Scorpio then, huh?
yes,
Yeah. Woo, Scorpio.
yeah.
So I'm November 3rd, Brian's November 7th.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, that's close.
Yep.
Yeah.
My wife is November 1st.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Oh, my
So-
daughter's
Wow.
October 28th.
Yeah, we got quite a few in October too.
We're a
I knew
Scorpio
we had-
family.
I knew we had some connection when we met you. I just
That's
knew
right.
it.
That's what it is.
It's the October thing. Yeah.
So you guys went to Hocking Hills. Why don't you just tell us a story? Tell us what was going on. It was your birthday weekend, you said?
Yeah. Because I turned the year before I turned 50, and they didn't do anything. So I always teased them. I said, thanks for doing something for me when I turned 50, right? So when we were sitting there at the winery, I was going on 51, and they were like, let's just make up for it. Let's go to the cabin. Because they know I've always wanted to go to Hocking Hills. So it was, yeah. So then they just went ahead and booked it. We planned it, figured out who was going to go. And there was 10 of us. I have 4 kids. 3 of them went out of 4. So it was like their girlfriends, my daughter's boyfriend, my son's best friend, his girlfriend, and my daughter's best friend. So it was like 10 of us. So yeah, we went. It was October. It was actually Halloween. We went on Thursday. Halloween was Saturday. So we were leaving Sunday. So we got there Thursday. It's in Logan, the cabin. And out in nowhere, you go up this road, and it went on forever. And I guess that's the driveway. It's like a one way. So it went on and through the woods, and we were up, like, you went up higher. So we get there, and it's just, we get to the top, and there's the cabin and just woods all around. And it was just really, really, really cool. And the cabin was gorgeous. Had a hot tub. And so we get there Thursday. It was raining. And I have to describe the cabin because of everything that happened. So when you're pulling in the driveway, the left side of the cabin is where like the deck was that was up high. You had a high deck, and then you had a lower level. And you only had a little bit of grass after that, and it went down a ravine. Like, right down in a ravine. And then the ravine went around, and then if you go in the back of the cabin, there's a big grass area, and then it comes up and it's flat woods. You can walk into the woods behind the cabin, and then over to the right is all woods, flat. So we get there, it's raining. Everybody was going right for the hot tub, and having a good time, and didn't care if it was raining. And of course, I was in the cabin decorating for Halloween. That was the first thing I did, because it was so spooky. We walked in there, and I am not joking. All the windows were huge, and there was not one curtain. No curtains. No curtains. And I walked in, I said, what in the world? I said, what do you mean no curtains?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been all right with that.
You had the living room that it's attached to everything attached. You had the living room like attached to the little dining area and then the kitchen. So it was all windows, like no curtains. So anything could be watching you. You don't know what's going on. The only room that had a curtain was the one bedroom that had a jacuzzi tub in it. That was the only one that had a curtain. So we were just having a good time, and everybody spooking each other, and there was these scary dolls in the one room. So every time someone would go in their room, someone would have like one of those dolls on their bed or in a chair, just like, just being goofy. So and like before this, when I was growing up, I used to be intrigued by Bigfoot stuff, things like that. You'd hear stories, and I remember being younger watching like a show, and they'd be talking about how, oh my God, this thing was looking through their window, real the top window with red eyes, and I'd be all like into the stories, but that was about it. And then my daughter, she's my youngest. Um, when Finding Bigfoot show came out, we watched it together. But that was it. That was it. Like never had him on my mind. Nothing. Um, so Thursday came and went. We all woke up Friday, and nothing was out of ordinary on Thursday at all. Just raining, whatever. So we get up Thursday or Friday. Everybody's making a late breakfast. I mean, we got all kinds of bacon and eggs. It was bacon and eggs like crazy. And the first time I went outside after we ate to go get in the hot tub, first thing I noticed when I got in the hot tub was this horrific smell. It was so smelly, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. We all are trying to figure out what it is. And I said, "Is it well water?" Like, then I'm like putting my head over the hot tub, and I'm like, "It rained last night. Is it mud?" And we couldn't figure it out. And people were coming out of the cabin, and they're like, "What in the world?" So that would come and go all day Friday, and I wasn't happy because those cabins aren't cheap. And I'm like, if we have to smell this the whole time, this is crazy. This is terrible. But we didn't smell it Thursday night. So we dealt with that all day, on and off, all day Friday, literally. And they were taking walks in the woods and things like that. And, some would go off in the woods, go whatever. And some of us would just stay in the hot tub and stuff. So Friday night comes, and we are mostly in the cabin because it was like 20 degrees out that October. So when we weren't in the hot tub, we'd go in. So some of us were way downstairs watching like scary movies. And my son's best friend and his girl went out on the deck, the top deck. They were the only ones outside. And my one son, they were in the jacuzzi tub, I think, because people were taking turns because it was cold outside. So they were using this jacuzzi tub as the hot tub because it was so cold outside. And so they come downstairs, and my son and his girlfriend are like, we smelled that smell. And when we got in after we were sitting in there for a minute in the jacuzzi tub. Now, remind you, we've not smelled it in the cabin all day at all. The two windows in that room are on ground level with curtains. And we couldn't figure it out. And I said, well, that's weird because we've all been in that jacuzzi tub and no one ever smelled that smell. And so they went to bed. They were tired, so they went to bed. So we get done with our movie, and we all come up. And I had stayed in that jacuzzi room the first night, and it was very scary for me because I was by myself. And they got a door next to the bed going out to the front, literally. And then they got a door in the bathroom that goes out. You open it, and there's a cellar right there when you open it, and it goes into this little building. And I was all spooked out. I had both things blocked off. So I changed rooms the next night, and I said, I'm not going in there again. So I went upstairs with my daughter's best friend, Tanisha. So right before I went up, I went over to the deck, and I opened the door and said goodnight to Matt and his girlfriend because they were still out on that deck. And I went upstairs. And as soon as I got in that bed and I just got my phone. I was just like, oh, nice and relaxed. The door comes banging open. And there's Matt standing there. And he's a big guy, like tall, just a big guy. And he's standing there and he has this look on his face. And me and Tanija jumped, like, we were like, what? And he said, who's messing with us? And we're like, what are you talking about? He said, so, you guys have been messing with us out there for a while now. And now it's getting crazy. And or something. And I said, they're sleeping. Everybody's sleeping. And my son, his best friend, was already passed out for a little while. And he had a shocked look on his face when he found out it was nobody in the cabin. So me and Tanija jumped up and we followed him down the stairs. And his girlfriend is like this out the windows. And I was like, what is happening? So when I got to the window and I looked out on the deck, he had blocked off both staircases with patio chairs. And I looked at him and I said, what is happening? I said, what scared you so much? He said, I don't know. He said it was like a war zone out there. He was like really crazy out there. He goes, guess things were being thrown. I don't know exactly. He explains it on the show. Just all around him. And one time there was a tree or a bush, I'm not sure, it was either shaken or something, and all the birds flew out. And at first he jumped around the corner a couple times thinking it was us. Because he was picking on us earlier. And that's why after the loud, I guess there was a really loud one that happened down below him by the jacuzzi somewhere. It was a big boom. And that's when they took off into the cabin and he hurried up, blocked the stairs off. That's how loud it was, I guess. And he thought that by the time he got through the cabin, we would have to run around and come in that bathroom door I told you. And he would catch us in action. Because, you know what I'm saying? So that's why he come when no one was there. So, because he opened that door, my daughter and her boyfriend were in there, and he's like, what the? So that's when he came up to me. And so we just start listening out the window. And I don't know what I'm listening for, but I was all freaked out because I'm like, what is happening? We're thinking, like, what is our group of people? This is 3, 4 in the morning. And it was a full moon that night. We had a beautiful full moon. Now, remind you, after midnight, it was Halloween. So it now was Halloween. And it lit up the back of the cabin in the grass. The full moon lit it all up. So we were sitting there looking out the windows, and I cracked the one window and I'm trying to listen, see if I can hear anything. Because they were saying all this stuff. And I remember saying, turn the lights off. Because I remember what little lights were on were putting a glare on the window. And we couldn't see out very well, but whatever could see in. So I said, turn the lights off. All of them. So I remember right when they messed with that over the stove light and finally got it off. I'm telling you, it wasn't a minute after they clicked that light off. Matt's girlfriend that was going like this said, there it is. And when she yelled, there it is, I looked and I see this black thing coming up out of the ravine. It came out of the ravine. It looked like on all fours onto the flat grass because it had to come up and come through the brush and all that. When it got on, by the time I saw it coming out on the grass, I ran to the kitchen window. So you know how you have that kitchen window over the sink? It was a perfect shot straight out into the field. And then Matt and Tanija followed me. So they were right behind me. So I'm looking through this kitchen window and I got a good look at it. And it was on all fours. And then it decided to stand straight up. So now I'm in shock watching this thing with my eyeballs stand up. And he kept going and going and going. He was, I don't even have words of how tall he was. Then the shoulder span was insane. So now I'm looking at a monster that just came out of the woods. So I'm standing there in shock. I hear Matt jumping around behind me saying, "Do you see that thing?" And then I hear Tanija, who's this very big skeptic, say, "Do you see the shoulders on that thing?" So then I knew they were looking at what I was looking at, but I could hear them behind me. And then all of a sudden, it just nonchalant, like no big deal, started just walking right towards me. He was coming straight for the cabin, swinging the arms. They were, hanging down past his knee, and he's just walking straight for straight for us in the window, like no big deal. And that's when I freaked out. I started screaming, "He's coming for the cabin." He heard me. I turned around, didn't pay attention anymore. All I wanted was to get my kids because that thing was headed for us. So I started screaming, "He's coming for the cabin." I turned and I hear them saying, "Oh, he turned and went back down the ravine." He heard me scream. So I ran, got everybody up. Everybody got up. All 10 of everybody got up, and we all ended up out on that deck, top deck. And um, it just lit up like a war zone. It was so noisy. Like I didn't know what was going on then. Now, if I heard it, I'd know exactly what I'm listening to because of all the stuff I've been learning and stuff. We were surrounded. It was everywhere. So there was definitely not just one. Then we started hearing all this vocalization stuff going on. There was the only way I could describe it. One was a woman screaming from the ravine. She just sounded like a woman screaming. And then there was the big howl. And I remember turning and looking at my daughter, and I said, "That's that howl from the Finding Bigfoot show." We both recognized it from the show, which was the Ohio howl, I'm assuming. But I recognized it to a T from the show. And then we ended up having all this chatter. And the only way I could describe it, it sounded like cavemen talking, and we didn't understand it. My kids, till this day, make fun of it because it sounded funny. They'll be running around like, "Ooh," it's like a joke now because it sounded whatever, and we didn't know what they were saying. That's the three distinct sounds I remember. Besides all the tree breaking and just, oh my God, it was just so loud. And then we started hearing it in the front of the cabin. So then we all made our way in a little group, bundled up down to the front of the cabin. To the left, in front of the cabin, you can see there was like a little island. It wasn't far from the wood line. And you could see the movement, the shadow of something going from the wood line to the little area there. And when you can hear them moving, you can hear them walking. And then people were like, then we had to keep turning around because they were still in the ravine behind us. So we had them everywhere, all the way around. And it was crazy, absolutely crazy. And so after we all, and by the way, we're all freezing out there, but at this point you don't care. So we went in, we knew we didn't have much time till daylight. So some of people went and laid down. There's no way I'm going to bed. So I stayed up. My one son stayed, a few of us stayed up. And he was so freaked out. And he's like, as soon as it gets light enough, I'm out there and I'm going to see if I see footprints, anything, wherever where he came out. He goes, because if it's people running around, messing around, we're out of here. Like he was just like crazy. We sat there for like an hour or so, at least going through every scenario you can imagine what that was. Nothing, no, it couldn't have been nothing else. Either it was a Bigfoot or a huge demon coming out of the woods, because the way the ravine is, you can't have somebody coming out with an outfit on with stilts, because he came out on all fours. How are you going to come out on all fours if you're on stilts? How are you going to stand up? So that was out of the question. Human was out of the question immediately. And then, so he went out there. My son stood there, and I looked out the kitchen window. My son's 6'2", and he made him look like a little fella. I was like, no way, you don't even compare. You don't even compare to what I saw. And it was high grass. It was all padded down. So it wasn't like a one distinct footprint. But it was all padded down and all the way. And my daughter and my son were out there, and she was up a little further, and he was by where he come out. And they were making fun of it, doing that caveman talk back and forth, thinking they were being funny out there by themselves. Then all of a sudden, out of the ravine came that same sound again. And they both looked at each other like, did you just do that? And you just do that? And they're like, no. And I said, well, it didn't happen that long ago. Of course, he's probably still, they're down there still. You're making fun of them. So they come back in, and my other son got up a little bit later, and he went to smoke a cigarette, and he went to the front of the cabin to the left where we had all that craziness and the movement and the shadow. And that's where we found our footprint, by the little island I told you. He it looked weird, so he pushed the leaves out of the way, and there was a humongous footprint. He snapped a picture, brought it in, and showed me, and I almost died. It's on the show at the end of the show. Huge, huge, and the footprint matched what the big thing I saw. And that all day Saturday after that, it was quiet. We never smelled the smell again. Never. All day Saturday, Saturday night, even all till the time we left on Sunday, the smell was gone. Completely gone. So yeah, that was so I didn't know what to do with that. So I come home and I'm like sending messages to people on finding Bigfoot because I had no idea what to do. I couldn't keep that in my head, what I just saw. And Matt Moneymaker called me back on the phone. And he said he had just been there a week and a half prior for a sighting. And he said it was only a mile from the cabin you were at. And he said it's 100% what all just happened. And I asked him, I said, well, it was coming for the cabin. He goes, yeah, as soon as you turn those lights off, he felt safe to come out, and he was coming to look in the windows. I said, that's nice to know. So did you know how many people are in those cabins in Hocking Hills? They get peeked on and have no idea.
Well, Debbie,
Because
I got to ask a question, and I don't know if we should put this on the podcast or not, but what do you remember the name of the cabin that you were staying in at Hocking Hills?
it was like a long name. I would have to look it up.
Okay. Well,
Like
not a big deal.
it had like 3 or 4 names in it, like something that
Okay.
it was Haven or Halo, or I don't even remember. It had something like that in there. But
Okay.
if I go on my stuff and look it and hit whatever, I can probably find it.
This had big open windows facing the woods, huh?
If you can
And
find it,
all around the
email it to us.
everything, it was okay. So when you first walk in, you got your living room, little dining area, and kitchen all together, anyways, like one big area, and it's just all open windows. And then it goes, you got a stairs that goes straight down to the bottom where there's like a little game room. And then the other part of the cabin is just going into some bedrooms. But that main part, it's just all, if you're sitting in, I don't care if you sit on a couch, I don't care if you're sitting in a chair, you're sitting by an open window. And when you're, and that's what people would jump out in front of the window when you were sitting on a chair, or, earlier, because, it's funny. But yeah, that was creepy. When I first walked, that was creepy enough. And the room my son was sleeping in, when I had my sighting, it was headed right. It would have came straight up to his window. It would have been lower, but he was coming straight. If he would have made it to the cabin, if I wouldn't have said anything, but well, as big as he was, he definitely would have looked in. It would have been the kitchen window up higher where I was, because he was coming straight for it. But
Man, you would have been eye to eye with him.
yes. And my kids yell at me to this day. Why did you have to yell? I said, excuse me?
He was coming for the cabin. I would
I
have
don't know
yelled
what
too.
this thing is, and this thing's walking. The thing's that thing could have That thing could have just plowed through that cabin and killed us all. No questions asked. That thing
Yeah.
would have had no problem. All 10 of us. No problem banging right through whatever. I don't care if it was a door or a window. It was so big.
Did you get a good look at its face at all? Could you
No,
get
I
any
couldn't see
details?
his face. All I saw was I saw the outline of his whole entire body. I remember how tall, like that sucker had to be at no less than 8 feet. No way. And then, because my son's 6'2", like I told you, and he towered him. The shoulders was like having a man standing like on each side, like a full man. That's how long the shoulders and thick. And I remember the arms when he started to walk. I remember them swinging because he was walking like no big deal. Like he was calm and he just all nonchalant just started to head right for the cabin, like woo, no big deal. And I remember those arms swinging, and they were below a little bit below the knee. And that the standing and the walking is, I think, what affected me the most in my head. Because when I first saw it on all fours, I'm thinking, I don't know what I was thinking at that time, what I was thinking I was about to see, but when it stood up, that's not what I meant to see. Because it was like in slow motion where he just kept going and going and going and going and
Right.
yeah, you're not supposed to see that come out of the woods ever.
On the show, it made it look like
No, the
they
show was
found that
different.
they
Yeah, the
found that
show was
footprint in
different.
the woods, and you
Mm,
said they found it by the house.
No, the show was different. They told me it was going to be different because they like to have that. If you have, like, say 5 people involved, they want 5 actors. Well, we had 10 people involved and they can only get 5 actors because of COVID. So he said we had to change it around some. Believe me, when I watched it, they were so off at times. The only thing they got right is that feeling when you're watching the show where he stands up and he just, you could feel how scary that's kind of correct. But no, he wasn't right by the cabin like that. He was directly behind the cabin, and I was looking out the kitchen window. He was a little distance away. And it come from behind a tree. He came out of the ravine. He crawled out of the ravine. And if you go look at it, you can see the big circle area where he crawled out of. Because even if he crawls back in, he has to go down a little bit to a good enough opening, then he can stand up and walk down the ravine. But there's a part of the ravine coming up or going down that you gotta kind of crawl, and that's why
Pretty
he
steep.
did that. And as soon as he got out on that flat grass right there, he stood straight up.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Debbie, can you describe the smell?
Oh, I, I don't even know. Like, it was so nasty. And being out in, you know, now going out and stuff, I've had whiffs here and there, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, that, you smell that? I'm like, that resembles what I smelled. Just like everybody has a different, you talk to people. It's not like one distinct smell, it's like a mixture. I remember having something to do with like a sulfur and a stinky, something dying, or and then a combo of like a stink, like a wet stinky animal or dog or a. And at one point I even thought, like, I don't know if that's the sulfur part where I thought, well, is this some really stinky well water? Like, it was just crazy. Nobody had, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was saying different crazy things when we were smelling it. Um, but it was bad. It was nasty. I was getting angry because I thought, okay, I paid all this money and I got to smell this now every time I come outside.
Would you recognize it again if you smelled it?
Yes, and I think I already have.
Okay.
Hmm.
Are you from Ohio? Is that where you're
Yes,
okay.
I'm about 3.5 hours away from Hocking Hills.
Okay.
So ever since then, I've just met so many Bigfoot people on Facebook, conferences, festivals. I went to the first Bigfoot festival. I met so many people. So now I've been going to a few places, and Salt Fork Park's one of them. That's one of my favorite places besides Hocking Hills. park is absolutely beautiful. It's like my favorite place. And that's 2 hours from me.
Yeah, it
So
is beautiful down there.
we drive that so much that it doesn't even it just feels like a not long ride at all now. But we try to get there at least once or twice a month.
So before I forget this question, would you go back and rent that same cabin again?
Yes, I've been dying to.
Really?
Yes, we're
What
working
stopped?
on it.
What stopped you? Just people have booked it.
Money, okay, because they're so expensive that when we got the 10 people, it was affordable.
Wow.
But you have to just say you got 8 to 10 people. They have to be serious to pay you the money, because just say they back out, then you owe that money on top of your money. And
Mhm.
we just can't do it. So we have to have the people that are serious and will pay and will go.
I'm
And
just
I think
reaching.
they'll
I'm
we've
reaching
been
out
we've been
there.
working on it. And I think we were to 6 people.
I'm reaching out there. But if you need if you need like 4 more people, I think me and Brian can cover this with
Oh
our
my
based
Hey,
God,
on
I
what I
can't
have.
wait.
And
I
we'd
think
love
we
to
can
go
actually.
out there, stay in the same cabin, and film and do a little documentary or some crazy stuff. You know.
Because I just want to, like I said, they came to us. I'm not the kind of person that goes out like a lot of them do, where they put the cameras out and carry the weapons and all
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Well,
Um,
like you said, you weren't. I mean, you were just there
we
for the
had
fun weekend. You didn't
we
have any Bigfoot in mind.
we were loud. We were having fun. Our music was blaring all the time.
That's
Uh,
probably exactly what called
and
them in.
us cooking all that food and bacon, and we were just having a really good time.
Hmm.
And that's what we would continue to do that. But now me and my daughter know a little more. So if we took that walk in the woods, we know what to look for now. If I heard certain things, I could tell you that there's one coming or one there. What we know now. And now I want to go back knowing what I know now, because oh my God. Yeah, I think that the let's see, when was the first, the Hocking Hills Festival's on their 3rd year right now. It's coming up. We went the very first one. And I was like, I'm not missing that, because that's where it happened, Logan. So we had to stay at a hotel like 15 minutes away. So we want to get in the woods. We didn't know where to go in the woods. So me and my daughter and her boyfriend at the time, we drove to the cabin and we went up that road, and there was people at the cabin. So we turned around. We were coming back down the road. We just stopped there. It was like 2 in the morning, and we turned the car lights off, and sat there. And I still think at times I smelled the smell, and because I was panicking, because I panic still. I'm trying to work on that. If I don't, I'll go out, but if I think one is near, I panic. I lose it.
It's understandable.
And uh my daughter, she wants to go to it. She's not whatever. And then I'm over here wanting to run the other direction. But then I'll go back. I'm like, I don't mind if they stay a distance, but if I think one's coming close, because I know how big he is, and all I picture is this humongous thing getting too close to me, and I freak out. So if you think about it, I mean, at least where we've been, they've not hurt anybody. The one they could have taken all of us out, and they didn't. So I'm working on it to where if I know one's there, and we've had them close, um, they're just being curious or playing with us or whatever. So I'm getting a little better.
Do you live in a part of Ohio where other Bigfoot are known to
I am by
exist?
the Lake Erie. I am like 20 minutes from Cleveland, but
Are you near Conneaut, Ohio?
yeah. Now see, that's what I was gonna say. I'm about you got me, you got Eastlake, and you got Menor, Painesville. You start getting into like Geneva, Madison, and then Ashtabula and Conneaut's the last one. My niece lives in Ashtabula, but we always heard of things in Geneva. So we went, I think it was last year, me and my daughter and her best friend, the one that was with us, went to Geneva because it's only 30 minutes. And yeah, we got growled at and followed out. I have no idea what happened. Don't know what that was, but it followed us out. Every time we stopped, you'd hear the footsteps. And it charged us and growled, and we started taking off. And it every time I said stop, let's stop, and then we'd hear it walking. It would be like you walking, following us out.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of stuff. Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. There's a lot of activity going on
Pennsylvania,
there.
I've been meeting a lot of people in Pennsylvania, and I'm telling you, that's all I hear is how active it is in Pennsylvania over there.
This is kind of the edge of the Appalachian Mountains, the foot trails of the Appalachian Mountains. Sometimes I wonder if these things don't necessarily live up in the mountains, but live more at the foothills, or they come down to the foothills to interact and look inside cabins,
Right?
so to speak. And I'm wondering if you guys were cooking bacon, playing
Yes.
loud music, like you said. You had no curtains. They could sit back in the woods 100 yards. You would
Yes.
never know they were there and watch you all night and all day.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
probably what they were doing.
Yep. All around us. I have no idea. Looking at it from the ravine, we were in the hot tub. They were outside on the decks. They were on the bottom level. You know, we were just, yeah. I had Halloween decorations like blinking skeletons I had sitting out. Yeah, we were just, yeah.
Well, yeah, but you don't ever think about that when you're out there and to have fun at a cabin
Right.
ain't good.
And if Matt and his girlfriend weren't out on that deck, they would have been looking at us through the window.
Oh,
But we probably, unless we would have noticed them, we wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have had all that experience if they just didn't happen to be on the deck being messed with. And
mhm.
they started messing with them big time. They were throwing things and just causing a scene around them. And that's what started the whole mess. Besides, well, the smell actually started it, but we had no, we didn't even know that was connected until after.
So you're not scared to see another one. You want to see another one of these things, you
Well,
say.
from a distance.
Okay. Do you think they're dangerous?
Once you see one and you see the size of these things, that's what's scary. But from everybody I've talked to and I've been around and learning off of, um, they haven't hurt. Like at least in Ohio area, they don't they hurt you. They could have.
Mhm.
So I've been paying attention, and things have happened with me and my daughter, and we just stood there because we learned that like a lot of people just go in with their lights and all that, and like think about it, it makes kind of sense. Why would you, if you have a flashlight, they know you can see them. If you turn your flashlight off and you stand in the complete darkness, they know you can't. So then they'll mess with you because they know you can't actually see them. So yeah, they've been pretty darn close, man. In the tent, one I could hear, I had run past my tent right next to where I was sleeping one night. I heard as plain as day, and nobody had a flashlight, so it wasn't a person. I asked everybody the next day. I was frozen. I couldn't move on my mattress. I thought it was coming around to peek in. Frozen. And I remember reaching down with my hand, and I was trying to throw stuff at my dog. And I like threw this foam thing at her because she wouldn't wake up. And I hit her with it, and she finally looked at me, and I said, but we don't know where it went. And my body went into panic and froze. The ones, if you've seen it and you're traumatized, it's your body just, I just go in panic when I think they're too close. If they're getting too close for comfort. Like say me and at one of the camps, everybody went out and I had broken my foot before I went to camp. This was like 8 weeks ago. And I went to camp anyways. And so I was kind of had a boot on my foot. So, and this other girl wasn't feeling good. So we stayed back and we were alone at camp. I said, watch when everybody leaves. We're going to get picked on. So sure enough, as soon as everybody left, we started hearing all this noise in the woods next to us. In my mind, I see someone's camper was sitting there. So when I'm looking at the camper in the dark with the firelight, in my mind, I'm picturing this thing towering over that camper, stepping out of the woods. I picture that in my head because I've seen it. That's what makes me panic because I've seen it. Other people that haven't seen that, they don't. But I'll look over there and I'll see the darkness. I'll hear it and I'll think, if he steps out, I'm out of here. Because in my head, I'm thinking he's gonna tower over that camper and he's gonna be right there and I'm gonna pass out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I guess I'm traumatized. Is what it is, from seeing it and being so shocked when I saw him.
Yeah, because you know what's out there and what's lurking around.
Because I mean, not ever in my lifetime. That stuff's not supposed to happen in reality. You're not supposed to have something like that come out of the woods in real life. Maybe in a movie.
Can you describe the noise, the talking, the chatter that you guys heard them
It didn't make any sense.
like? Can you
It was
imitate
like
it at all? I'm not trying to make fun
no,
of
it was
it, but
like and just stupid stuff like
like
cavemen would.
caveman talk, like
Yes,
booga
that's
booga
what.
booga 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 booga.
Yes, that's what we were joking around about it. Like it was like ooh, whatever, back and forth. Now other people have different things of chatter they've heard, but that's how I described it, as cavemen.
Do you think these things are cavemen? Do you think that's what they are? You think these are things are ancient
No,
people that hidden caves for years and thousands of years and have their own language that just come out and just
I
and
think they're smart and God, who knows what they can do. They might be able to speak our language. I think they have their own language. They're very smart. I think they're very smart and they've caught on to a lot of what we do. And
Yeah,
um
I agree with
the
you. I think they're very smart too, and I think they've been around long enough to know.
right and like at camp when or places the ones that like throw rocks and pick up people's tents and play games. I think that's juveniles. And I don't blame them. Think about it. I always say this. If I was one of them, I would be picking on the people myself because we would be over there cracking up. Can you imagine being like, watch this? I'm going to throw this rock. Watch their response. And they're over there busting up laughing. Like, it to them, it's funny. Like, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, just being whatever and run around and say, let's hit this tent and run. I could see that because if I was one of them, I'd be doing the same thing,
You
yeah.
watch us
especially the
freak
younger
out,
ones.
watching the
Yeah.
humans freak out.
Yes, think about it. Think of all our
Yeah,
reactions, how we act
that's
when
what
they
I'd
do
do.
something.
Yeah.
Let's break this stick. Watch what they do. Like watch the lights, watch this, watch that. Like I
Hmm.
think they're really smart and yeah, oh yeah.
We gotta
Yeah.
put in you gotta put it into perspective here. Uh, most of the world does not believe in Bigfoot, right?
Right.
But I'm gonna say all or most of Bigfoot know that humans exist.
Yes.
And I say that because they come down from the mountains. They come to our territory line and they watch us. They
Yes.
know all about us. They
Yep.
know
And they've
way
been
more
doing it
about us.
all this time. Who knows how long? All since probably before we were even come along.
Very possible. They
And
I've always thought that. I think these things are cavemen that existed that never came out of the caves, never came out of the woods, uh, continued to procreate, and the environment kept them as they were. And maybe the human species developed or was somewhere else in the world, England or over in the eastern part of the world, and who knows, right? I mean,
right.
I'm just throwing
That yeah, everybody has
darts out there.
I know everybody some people are like, "Oh, they're flesh and blood and it's like a gorilla." But I don't I never say I never know for sure. I'm never gonna say no until someone completely proves it because I don't know what they are. I know they're there. That's all I can tell you. I know 100% they're there. I know that for sure. I will clarify it to everybody. Nobody could tell me. They could have their opinion, but no one will ever tell me that they do not exist because I saw one, and I continue to have little experiences, so I know they're there. And I don't know exactly what they completely are, but I do know that Um, just say you're watching on thermal, you're watching a deer, you're going to be able to watch that deer go all the way till you can't see it anymore. Same with any animal.
Hmm.
You get a Bigfoot on a thermal and he'll vanish. You can't follow him anymore. Where'd he go?
Exactly.
I've heard them charge and run, and they're right there in front of your face. You put the flashlight, you can't find them. That's happened to me personally. It's like, where are they?
do you think they're paranormal? Do you think they're
I
from
don't
a different
know.
dimension? What do you think
Don't
they are?
don't know. I don't know. Like
That's
that.
you
That's
know,
why they intrigue me so much because
yeah, and that's all anybody, even this experts,
yes,
have nothing but theory. I mean,
uh,
that's all
and
anybody has.
and you getting. That's why I say getting out in the field and like experiencing things, like how they all learn about us and all the time.
Right.
That's all we could do is just
Yeah.
like theories, and then if it seems like it's working or it's going with it, that could be a true thing. Um, that's what we're doing. We're just trying to figure them out and learn about. I mean, I don't. I'm not out to hurt one or catch one and all that. I just want to be
Right.
around them and learn. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about them like they are us. That's all. That's all it is for me.
Don't we all want to be that way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't care if they ever actually physically catch one. I already saw it. They don't
True.
have to.
Yeah.
They do not have to get a body to show the world. I saw it. I
See, that's how
saw it.
we
I
are.
saw it. I saw it. I know he's. I know they're there.
We don't need scientific proof.
No.
Brian and I believe 99.9%. I'm pretty sure. Maybe Brian doesn't
Hopefully, we'll
believe
get to
as
see
much as
one
that,
eventually.
but I mean, we want to see one
Oh
for
yeah.
ourselves, right?
Yeah. That's why I take my daughter. She started coming with me everywhere when we started to go camping and everything, and she's had a kind of a partial sighting already. Yes.
Okay, where tell us
Nice.
about that real
She
quick.
she it was raining, and I don't even know where we were because I couldn't even tell you because I'm not familiar with certain parts of the park or nothing. 'Cause I'm still kind of new, so I couldn't even tell you where we were. And I just remember it was raining, and there was water on one side, and there was some suspicious footprints, but they were all filled up with water in the sand because of the rain. So they were all filled up. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard to. And I remember making a comment, and then to the left of the little road it went straight up into the woods, like going up. And I remember saying, well, they could be coming down from there and going straight to the water. So my daughter, because some hills and stuff I don't attempt to go on because I know I'm not gonna make it. You know, she'll go with certain people and they'll go hiking and they'll go all over the place. Could up massive hills and all that stuff where I'm not gonna attempt. Um, and she knows what it sounds. She didn't tell me and the person we were with that she heard something rustling coming down the hill. So she walked over there by herself. And then we just walked over there to her and we were talking and stuff. And she kind of made the comment, I heard something coming down. And we walked over by the car again. Me and the person we were with were by the car, which was literally right in front of the woods, anyways. You can just take 3 steps and you're at the wood line. She walked over to this opening and she said, look, you said about them coming down an opening and coming to the water. Look at this. And it was a big opening. You could tell it's been used. And right in front of her, going up, it was all open. She didn't know at the time. But she's standing there staring in. Then all of a sudden, we heard this huge pop sound that scared me to death in front of us, right straight in front of us. Who we were with ran in right away. But before he ran in, Alyssa said, um, that either that's a big tree stump thing that just fell over, or I just saw something go to the right. So they ran in, and where she said she saw the big thing, there was no tree. There was no tree stump. There was nothing. and there was something running to the left, and she saw that move to the right. It was almost like it sneakily stepped quietly to the right. She witnessed it. And because her mind was like, she's like, she didn't want to say that. She's like, okay, well, is that a tree stump that fell over? But no, it wasn't at all. So we believe there was two that came down. One ran to the left, which stepped on this humongous tree that popped it. And the other one stepped to the right. And she saw him step to the right. She said, she described it. She said it was big, tall, and dark. And she goes, and I saw it move real quick. And they went and investigated, and there was nothing in that path where she saw it standing. There was nothing there. Nothing. So that was last October. So that was her as far as seeing wise.
Debbie, you've seen a Bigfoot. You've been around a lot of people who've experienced the Bigfoot thing with you. Your daughter's had that experience. What do you think these things can roam around and not be detected? What do you think that we don't know about these
Well, I
things?
ask that question all the time because I'm like, they are so big. How do we not hear them at times? How in the world, if I go walking in, you're going to hear me?
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind. And people just come back with like, they're barefoot. They've lived in the woods all their lives. They know how to be quiet, sneaky. I guess.
Sure. I mean, same with bears or anything
I
else.
guess you
Sometimes
can
you
be
can't
more
hear anything.
quiet if you don't have shoes on and all that stuff. I don't know. Because
Are they wood ninjas or something like that? Forest
they blow
ninjas?
my mind. I don't understand. At times they could be as noisy as can be, and you'll hear them cracking and breaking trees and stuff. And then other times you'll wonder how they're being so quiet. How's that possible? They're huge.
Because they want to
Huge.
watch you. They're
They're just
watching you.
more one with nature. They're just more in tune with their environment than we are. We don't belong
That's
in the
what.
woods.
Yeah, that's what people say. Like they know everything about,
Right.
how to
Yeah.
be quiet to being noisy. It does. They might not care at one moment, but they know how to be really quiet
Yeah.
as well.
It's just like a mountain lion or a bobcat or something like that. You're not going to hear them until they want you to hear them, and then it's too late.
Right. Yeah, it amazes me because of their size.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I say that all the time. I'm like, how do we not hear it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We wonder that
You
too
saw
all
the
the time.
size of this thing, and the foot. How did you not hear that?
Debbie, I won't put this on the podcast. I just wanted to ask you this before I forgot. What were you born in 1970?
1969.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
We were
good.
born
You're
in
older than a
70,
girl
so
over there. That's good.
I thought we were real close. So
Almost.
anyway, yeah.
Close. Yeah, real
I
close.
thought we had a good connection going on. Anyway, we all did. So anyway, but
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Nice.
we have a blast. Me and my daughter. We just
well,
we have so
if you
much
guys
fun.
can get back to that cabin,
Yeah.
and
If you want to rent
you
that
need
cabin,
about 4 people,
hit
I'm
us
sure
up.
that me and Brian and our other halves will be happy to
Yeah.
join you.
Oh, yeah.
And
We'd love that.
we'd love to do a show, a podcast, bring some cameras, and man, I'd love to see a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't. I would just probably do the same thing we were kind of doing and just let them come
Yeah.
back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Cook some bacon, have a
I mean,
party.
yeah,
Did you have a
just
grill? Fire up the grill?
no, because
Oh, there was no grill.
I don't know. There was supposed to be a fire pit, and I swear, if I'm correct, it was up. It was over up a hill. It wasn't like right next to the cabin. And I'm like, who's gonna go way over there? So it was because it was so cold we didn't make a fire. I always wanted to go back in the summer and stuff and experience like just having fires and hanging out. But October seemed to be the month, and I remember asking Matt Moneymaker. I was curious, and I said, what is the most time of the year? Is there a certain month or time of the year? He said October is the most sighting month. So he did tell me that. And that was when mine was. And I don't know.
Matt Moneymaker doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just kidding. He's cool. He's probably right. I
Well,
mean,
that's
the
I
fall
didn't even know
season.
Well, I mean,
anybody
he
in the
would know. I mean, just putting together the
I know. I'm just
yeah,
messing.
I didn't
I'm
know
not going to put
anybody in
that
the
on the
Bigfoot
show.
didn't know any Bigfoot people whatsoever. That was the only thing that popped in my head is I'm like, who do I got to talk to somebody about this. I cannot keep this in. I
Are you going
can't.
to go to Crypticon coming up in Lexington, Kentucky this
Well,
fall?
Kentucky, I don't even know how far that is.
Lexington, how far is that from you?
I don't know. It's going to be a while. It's probably
well,
I would
there's
say probably 4 or over
the
for
Really,
sure.
Indiana
4?
one.
Okay.
There's the
Okay.
Indiana one coming up.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all over
one
the
in
place. I
Nashville.
wish I could go to all those. I see them all over the place.
We'll be at all of them.
And
Have
the
you ever thought about writing a book or, doing your own kind of thing about Bigfoot? Or are you in that intrigued or
oh,
that interested to get
I am
involved
so
in?
like into, and I'm
Do you
right
have a
now. I'm
Facebook
just
page or anything
like
like that?
right now. I'm just sucking in, learning from everybody, and I
Okay.
like listening to
It's
everybody's
the
stories.
best thing you can do.
I'm not the kind that sits there and says, "Oh, well, that story's ridiculous." No, I'm not saying that about nobody because what I
Mm.
saw, I shouldn't be sitting here telling you about. So I'm not going to tell anybody that they didn't see what they saw. I will never do that. I don't care how ridiculous you sound. And I love hearing people's stories. And I love people that's been in it for a long time and tell me, and I've been learning things. I just learned some stuff, last time I went camping, and um that's what I'm trying to do, suck it all in and just keep learning.
You know what? That's what I do, Debbie. I love hearing the stories.
Yeah,
That's
and I
that's
just
why
like learning. You
That's
keep
that's
learning
why we
things.
that's why we do what we
that's why
do.
we do this.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
then when you're out there camping and you're out there, you might have some theories pop in your mind that you kind of thinking, all right, well, curious about this theory. Like then you
Mhm.
start, you know what I mean? And
yep.
Yeah,
and me and my daughter we have our own experiences. And um and I'm not the one that's out there that's, I don't know. I'd rather be on the ground and experiencing it all, but I don't want it's weird because I don't want it to be like I don't want to go in by myself, or I don't want it just to be me and my
never.
daughter going
Yeah,
in,
never go in by yourself.
or just me and her, depending on where we're at. I still get a little spooked.
Well,
So,
two is better than one, so
but if
never
I
go by
had,
yourself.
yeah, if I had few people to go in with, or like another or a guy that was with us, then I love it. I would be going in as much as
Well,
possible.
And
you know,
it's not even because of Bigfoot. It's because if you're in the woods and
Anything in
alone,
the woods,
something
right?
happens, you can break an ankle or
Yes.
something.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. And
it's it's not our territory; it's their territory, right?
exactly.
right. And who knows what else is in there? Like I'm
Again,
not
yeah.
saying
There's
anything.
other stuff in the woods
I've
that want
heard
to eat
some
you.
stories where I'm like, I'll stick to Bigfoot.
Hmm.
Yes,
Half these
because
things, some of these things that stories I've heard and what I've heard, I'll
Hmm.
stick to Bigfoot.
yeah, we've heard those too. I know
I don't
exactly what
want
you're
any of
talking
those
about.
other things shown in front of my face.
Yeah, we don't want to see Dogman either.
Not him or
Skinwalker,
Skinwalkers or
nothing. Because
Chupacabra.
when we were at Geneva, I took a
Mothman.
picture. I took a
None of
picture
the
of this
above.
weird print. And when we went to Salt Fork for a camp out, I showed this print to somebody, and the first thing out of their mouth was, "Oh, that's a dog man." I said, "Don't tell me that the thing that chased us and growled at us at Geneva was a dog man. Don't even go there. I don't want to know." I'm like, I'd rather be walked out escorted by a Bigfoot. Do not go there with a dog man. I
It
was
might
Hmm.
so
have
freaked
been.
out.
We've
I
heard
was
that area is full of dogmen, the Geneva area.
really, I
Oh yeah.
did not know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
Like I want to investigate more in local because I always have to go like 2 hours away or something. And I know there's places out local. I don't know where to go. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Debbie, we got to thank you a ton for being here with us
Oh,
tonight. I
no
know we
problem.
met you and we
Awesome.
were working on getting you on the show, and
And
you
hearing
agreed to
your
come on.
actual full story and not just off
Yes.
Right. Yeah,
the
that's
TV
what it
stuff.
is. The show doesn't do it justice. They had to change it around. Um,
Everybody always says that. We've interviewed about 3 or 4 people now from that show, and you guys always say the same thing. They
no, they
twist it
totally.
around. It's not like how we
When
Because
I
presented
watched
it.
it the
So
first time, I was like, no, 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 that wasn't said. No, that's not right.
yep.
Like you
We
notice
hear
the
that all the time.
footprints in the show. There was multiple. No, it was just the one.
Yeah. That's why we
And
like to get you guys on our show
Mhm.
and let you tell the story
Let's tell the full
how it really
story.
happened.
Let you get it out
right,
there.
right,
So
right.
again, thank you so much for being here with us tonight,
Yes,
Debbie.
thank you.
Oh,
We
no
appreciate it.
problem. Yeah, and if
And
I ever
hopefully
think
we'll
about
see you
that,
at another show again.
if I ever
Yeah.
think,
Hey,
yeah, let's let me know.
you guys do that cabin thing.
Yeah,
You got our information.
Yep.
We're not joking. If we can make it
All we got
work,
to do is ask.
we definitely would love to check it out. And I would like to know anyway if you guys don't go eventually, I'd like to go check it out at some point.
right.
Just
Yeah, I gotta figure out. Like the lady that I rented, I think it was a lady. I never said a
was it
word to
on
that.
VRBO or was it
No, I found her on my own, and
kind of like a
or the
website?
girls. It was just me and the girls, and we were just going from cabin to cabin, and we just ended up booking that one.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it's not like on a main thing,
It was
and
called like
I'm
Hallow or the
like
Hilo or
Oh, that makes me
something I
Halo.
wonder.
can't remember. I remember it had like 3 or 4 names to it. Wasn't just one name,
How many
and
bedrooms or people did it sleep? Do you remember? Or do you remember your
12
shirt?
at least.
Okay.
So
Wow.
there
So
were
you're
kind
going
of
for it's a bigger one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had 10.
right.
So
It's got to be like a perfect spot for these things to come up and watch people without them ever knowing. Like you said, there was a ravine there, all that stuff. So that's what I'm
That makes
thinking.
me wonder if the lady that rented it knows.
you know what?
Hmm.
I afterwards I remember going back and I was looking at like comments and stuff and reviews and no one ever said anything and I never
Most
said a
people won't.
word to this lady
Hmm.
and I was even on a show and everything and I never said a word. So I don't know.
Well, if you can find it again and get a hold of her, ask her.
Right. She's probably gonna be like, why, but nobody, I don't think anybody knows where it is. I don't even know if what they put on they might have put coordinates or something on the BFRO. I don't even remember.
I don't think they did. I think it's pretty private. And
Yeah.
like I said, you told us the name
And,
of it. I'm not, mine might not leave it on the episode.
but
But
yeah,
then again, it might be great publicity for people and there might be more interaction and something might happen.
right,
I'm not saying killing one, but we want to we want to progress this interaction. We want to know, we want to get more stories and
right,
we want to figure out if someone's hiding this, then let's get more interaction. Let's figure it out. If they're not, then let's figure it out and
right. And they're definitely,
let's bring it to life. There's another species of beings out there that live in
Mhm.
caves in the mountains and the woods, and they're able to stay hidden
Right.
from
And
us.
I just think with the technology that how we took a turn with technology and all that kind of stuff, and people just they got more stuff on them when they hunt and fish and all this
Hmm.
stuff, and that's why all this started to get caught and people seeing stuff and getting on social media and saying you're not gonna believe what I saw in the woods today, and that's how it all
Hmm.
blew up over the so
Oh,
many
yeah.
years. Is
Yeah.
why they're being seen more.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, so and then once that gets going, then everybody starts paying attention. Oh my God, that's probably what happened to me 5 years ago. They
Yep.
put two and two together.
And the more people that hear these stories might come forward and tell their
Yeah,
stories.
there's a
You never
Yeah.
know.
lot. I
And
know there's
that's
a yeah,
hopefully
I
will
know
happen when we put yours out there. Somebody will
there's a
hear it and
lot
they'll
of
be
people
like,
out
well,
there
that
that
happened
don't.
to me too.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot of people that don't speak. I guarantee you they don't speak, and
More than not. More
Yeah.
than
they
do.
don't
Yep.
Yeah.
they don't feel comfortable like going to talking to like say like Matt Moneymaker like I did, and they put on the BFRO.
Mhm.
Um, They just don't want to mess with that, especially the ones I think that have them on their property. They don't want all these people coming
Right.
in and hurting them or
Mhm.
this or that
Exactly.
or, and
People
people just keep it to
trespassing on their
themselves.
property.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, again, Debbie, we thank you a ton for being here. It was great having
Yeah,
you
it
on.
was
We
fun.
looked forward to
Thank you.
this for a long time,
Oh, no
and
problem. It was fun.
thanks for
Mhm.
sticking with it and being here with us tonight.
Oh, no problem. It was fun.
All right. Well, maybe someday we can meet up and celebrate our birthday weekend
Yes,
together.
that would be fun.
Heck yeah.
See, we're
Maybe we
all
can figure that
close.
out. You never know.
Yeah, we should. We're very close
I know
for the
this year there's
birthdays.
some weird stuff going on or not weird stuff. I know that this year I may not be available, but next year we keep
Yeah,
talking. Maybe we can plan it.
that's a
That would be
good
awesome.
idea. Yeah,
Next year.
yes.
I'm always available.
All
Say,
right.
so am I. So am
Next
I.
year, Hocking Hills, all of us Scorpios, we're gonna look
Yes.
for Bigfoot,
I'm
right?
through.
That would be
That's
so
right.
fun.
All right, sounds
So
great.
fun.
My daughter
I'm
too.
down. We're doing it.
Yeah. Well, we
We're
got
doing.
all
Yeah, your
keep in
daughter's a
touch.
Scorpio. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We all
do
gotta
keep in
keep.
touch, Debbie. Do keep in
Okay.
touch.
Yeah,
Let us know
please.
what's going on, and
Okay.
we'll let you know when we release this episode. It might be this Sunday or next Sunday. So
Okay.
again, thanks a ton for being here with us
Oh,
tonight.
no problem. You guys,
Yeah, we
it
appreciate
was
it.
fun.
Stay in touch. Reach out to us, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Debbie. Have
See
a
ya.
good night.
Bye.